If you Google the difference between efficiency and effectiveness, you will find over 1 billion hits. There are endless opinions from business strategists, linguists, or even psychologists on the topic. Clearly, there's confusion out there, and my short video won't clear it up. Instead, let me share a story of how a friend of mine used these terms to create value for his businesses. Let's take a look. So back in the day, when I started out in business, they taught us the classic cliche. Efficiency is about getting things done right, and effectiveness is getting the right things done. Like any cliche, this was true, but really hard to put into practice. I used to tell myself that if I'm efficient, then I have to achieve a given goal with the lowest effort, cost, and time, with minimal waste, but I would not question the goal, whether the goal makes sense. To be effective, on the other hand, I needed to look at the business outcomes I was after and decide if the goals even made sense at all. If not, what goals to set instead. I will let you explore the philosophical rabbit holes of this debate on your own. I'm curious what efficiency and effectiveness mean to you. But today, I wanted to discuss an investor friend of mine I'll call Mike. He and I got into this whole efficiency, effectiveness discussion and found common ground. What he said was this: forget the labels. None of that matters. What matters is this: there are only 3 things you can do to make a business better. Name them what you want. Mike called them cheap, efficient, and effective. He told me that when he looked at buying a business or helping a CEO improve it, he asked them the same 3 questions. Can I make it cheaper? Can I make it more efficient? And can I make it more effective? More often than not, business teams combine the various cost reduction strategies and are not even clear if they improved costs, efficiency, or effectiveness. Mike believed that it was important to know because how you created value shaped the business long term. Let's see how Mike looked at each and how you can combine them for a winning value creation approach. So first, cheap. Mike used to tell me, companies under pressure will push the cost problem outside, slashing material and labor costs. If your business budget gets cut, you will cut your hiring, contractors, pressure vendors to cut their costs. We all do it. The easiest way to drive short-term value is cut the spend. So cheap is important, but not sustainable. This is what Mike said. Look at your business before and after your cost cutting. Did you serve your customers better? Is your customer happier? Has your on-time delivery improved? Has customer churn improved? Most importantly, are they willing to buy more from you at higher prices? How about your competition? Are we faster, better, or cheaper than they are as a result of our cost cutting? Rarely, said Mike. Almost never. Cutting labor, squeezing suppliers, and even basic outsourcing lowers short-term costs. Does not improve long-term profitability. Mike believed cost-cutting gives the business breathing room to get better. He said it is like a champion boxer dropping weight before a fight. Unfortunately, many businesses are stuck in cost-cutting and never improving the processes. It's like the same boxer that keeps dropping weight but never gets in a match. So the second Mike looked at is efficient. Mike believed improving efficiency should be second nature for all businesses. And in most cases, it is. Given decades of management science focusing on process improvement, Lean, Six Sigma, and other strategies, you'd expect that to be the case. Many companies do this well. The key thing for Mike was making sure that efficiency improvements stood on their own. If a company decides to improve its collection process, for example, the new process should be simpler and faster without cutting supplier costs. Think about it. If the process used to take 200 people 5 days to complete, and now it takes 30 people in 1 day, with the new collection system, that's real efficiency improvement. If all you did is outsource the same 200 people to a BPO, and it still takes 5 days, then you just made an inefficient process cheaper. Mike wanted efficiency to be there in the first place and then make that efficient process cheaper, double dipping in value. When Mike looked at improvement projects, he always wanted to know how much of the value is coming from efficiencies and how much from buying cheaper stuff. Making process improvements makes the business better long term, in his view. Buying cheaper is just a race to the bottom. Mike saw his role at making sure that his companies don't sacrifice long-term process improvement for short-term cost savings. And his third lever, effectiveness. One of Mike's pet peeves was the lack of focus on effectiveness. Following his boxing analogy, he believed way too many leaders were focusing on making their athletes fit, but didn't focus on putting them in the right fights. He recalls several multi-year projects improving order management or supply chain processes when ultimately the right answer was to change suppliers or change their distribution centers to serve a different set of customers. Mike believed we should always ask this: should we even be doing this process to get our business results? Companies spend a lot of money and resources on doing things that customers don't care about and won't pay for. He told me a story of a team that wanted to spend $1 million on a new management reporting system. Mike asked them for a list of customers that they would lose if the system was not built. That list never came. What I learned from my time with Mike was this: if you have to ask the big questions, what is our business goal? What's preventing us from getting there? And fix those things. This may mean new customer segments, new supply chain network, or even entering new lines of business. That will guide effectiveness. Once you are where you want to be, then you can figure out the best way to get there, which will be a combination of simplifying processes, doing more with less, and yes, cutting costs of your suppliers. Effectiveness is our guide. Process efficiency first and cost cutting last is how we get there. Mike, you know who you are, wherever you are. Thank you. For the rest of you, talk soon.